we just got a shipment of 100 new orchids in. And actually this first one, I'm just going to grab it just because it's cute, is miniature Phalaenopsis. And this guy is not all that big, and he's a little bit different than some of the ones I've seen lately. It's kind of got a little bit of a peachy color to it, and it's got 2 nice spikes and a lot of buds still coming, so you should get a lot of life out of these. One thing you want to keep in mind when you're buying orchids is the amount of flower spikes you're getting on the orchid and the amount of buds, because that's basically going to tell you, how much enjoyment you have left in that orchid, and that's part of the value of what you're paying for in a nice orchid. You do see a lot of the Phalaenopsis around. This is actually a particularly nice Phalaenopsis in here. It has kind of a different modeling, not just straight purple, as well as another nice flower spike coming along right there, so you should get plenty of enjoyment out of that one. And again, Phalaenopsis are known to be good, easy beginner's orchid, aren't too fussy, long blooming, pretty easy to care for. These ones here that just came in are really exciting because they're actually intergeneric hybrids. So basically, in plant nomenclature, you have genus, species, variety. A lot of times they'll hybridize species, so they'll have, say, a Phalaenopsis, and they'll hybridize 2 different Phalaenopsis to get some variation. And these, they actually took, a Phalaenopsis, and I'm just making this up, and an Oncidium, a totally different type of orchid, and hybridized them. And most of these orchids here, that's what they are. They're intergeneric, not interspecific, being they're hybridizing the not the species, but the genera of the plant. And if you actually go up one step higher, that's actually the family of the plant would be is Orchidaceae, which is orchids, and it's actually the largest plant family, flowering plant family rather, in the world. So there's a lot to choose from in orchids. So I'm not even going to pretend to know what all these hybrids are. They actually once they do the intergeneric cross, they give them a new kind of made up genus, and I'm not familiar with all of them, but there's some real beauties. If you look at the long sepals on those, and then the different patterning, and even different coloration, even right within the same flower on the plant. Some really neat ones. We have one over here. This one, I think the variety name on it is Clownish Cotton Candy, and you can see it's actually got some purple, which is a little unusual on it. And to me, they always look like flying insects. If you look at this one up here, this is a really unusual one. It almost looks like, to me, like a moth with some antenna on it, and really pretty foliage as well. This one is actually called Mendenhall variety Hildos, and again, I'm not all that familiar with it, but the big deal about the intergeneric hybrids is they're very easy. They're they're more tolerant of a lower humidity environment like your house, and they tend to do quite well. They're long blooming, easily a month and a half in bloom, and you can see a lot of these are in bud. They haven't even opened yet, so you'll get a lot of enjoyment, and I dare say you can even get more than a month and a half quite often on some of these. So they're really long blooming plants. They'll usually bloom for you at least once a year, sometimes twice. They usually bloom on the shortening days, so a lot of times they'll bloom for you in the winter when you really would like that color in the house. And occasionally, if you're lucky, you get on some of them you'll get a flower even in the fall on them. We also have, I'll just show you a nice dark purple one there. And we also got some of the different varieties of just the species orchids, the Dendrobiums, which is a good, easy to care for orchid, and there's actually a lot of different colors amongst the Dendrobiums. You can see we have some that aren't even open yet, and I have had cut Dendrobiums, that is, cut from the plant in a vase of water in my house, in bloom for over a month, cut. So, on the plant, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of those in the house. And again, a fairly easy orchid to care for. The Oncidiums, actually this is a neat one. This one's called Sherry Baby, and the reason I went kind of backed up is I can actually smell this from here. It smells like chocolate, and if you come in and take a whiff of this, you'd be very surprised. It actually smells like you're walking by a chocolate bar. It's really neat. And we also have some of the traditional, if you want a nice easy one, the dancing lady orchids in somebody's mind. these little flowers here, if you imagine the dress, the head, the hands, it actually looks like, with a shirt on, looks like the a dancing lady. Those are a lot of fun and fairly easy as well. But like I said, 100 new ones to choose from. We have more than that that we have in stock too. And I'm just going to walk down here real quickly as well, just to show a few, well, a couple pet orchids. Right here we have a Dendrobium that we kind of just tied into a piece of, well, a piece of dead tree. And naturally that's what they are. They're called epiphytes, which they're not a parasite, they're not living off the tree, but they just kind of park themselves there. And this is how they would grow in a rainforest. And so here's one here just kind of growing like it might if it was in a tree in the jungle somewhere. And we've also got up here pet we've had for a long time, a Brassavola. And right here, this is actually a pet we've had for a long time. We just moved it, so it seems to be a little finicky about the fact we moved it. It's not flowering for us this winter. But this is actually a Brassavola, and it basically just gets larger and larger every year. And it will have a lot of nodding white flowers in the winter, which is really kind of neat. You can mount something like this to a piece of bark if you want to use it in the house if you don't have this amount of space to use. But just kind of neat. So if you want to come down and visit our Brassavola, unfortunately it's not flowering, but we'd love to see you. And we have some other orchids as well. But like I said, it looks like a little chilly this week. Come on in. Beautiful environment in here. And like I said, just walk around and enjoy the humid air and the warmth. Hope to see you this week.